Maybe in a decade they take me out on a stretcher till I come back like Roman Reigns. Blood in my veins, still boiling and the pot finna bubble up. 10 blunts lit, I got the drop in the double cup. Bro, they know I'm at the spot and I'm finna fuck 'em up. Pearly gates waiting, but it's no heaven. Call me baby reverend, choke 'em out like Dan Severn, and my brother still bludgeon. We at the complex on a new day. Dreads to my ears, I look like Lupe. Yeah.
Whoa, what's going on, world? What's cracking, gang? What's the deal? It's everybody's favorite Unk, and today we're doing things a little bit differently. You can see that our brother in arms is not here with us. He is on a brief hiatus. He had prior engagements tonight, but I'm joined by two very special returning guests. Why don't you introduce yourselves, guys?
Mo, you go first.
What's up, everybody? Gonna take Patrick's
Very good.
Real
Very
quick. This is your girl Mo Breezy, aka Mo Brown, number one AEW women's hater. Just kidding. We're gonna get to that. But yeah, excited to be on the pod, hanging with the lads today. You know, I'm gonna kick it over to Eric.
What's up? It is I, EK, back in the house. Happy to be back. Happy to ready to go off about all things. I got the can.
He's back in the house. He's cracking cans.
Yeah, I still got some mini Coke Zeros left over from our all-in extravaganza.
This man had all the caffeine. We had all the alcohol.
Well, you know what's funny? I did the party trick. I came in. I mean, I did drink multiple tiny Cokes, but I started off with the big Red Bull, and I drank it, and then I kept filling it with water. So it looked like I was chugging Red Bulls all night. But
hey, listen, man, you were getting all the remnants that was left in the can with that water, man. You know?
It tasted good.
You know,
like the remnants made things pretty nice. I'm into it.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a wild last week and a half or so of pro wrestling shenanigans, and I'm sure that in the stint of the old white man, that these two illustrious special guests we have on will do just fine filling in the big shoes that are Patrick Edward Busey. Didn't mean to put his whole government out there.
Oh, you got the middle name in there.
When he sees this, he's going to be like, we got to bleep that out. But yeah, man, I mean, we're going to start, kind of on a somber note, because last week we recorded literally, I think 2 or 3 days before the news came out about the unfortunate passing of the hardcore legend Terry Funk. And of course, we were hit back to back with the twofer with not only Terry Funk, but Wyndham Rotunda, a.k.a. Bray Wyatt, passing away tragically at the age of 36. I guess we can start out, because seniority, we can start out talking about Terry Funk a little bit. I don't know about you guys, but I know for me personally, I didn't grow up in Terry Funk's prime per se. I was introduced to Terry Funk kind of in the Attitude Era as Chainsaw Charlie.
Same.
Him and Mankind or not Mankind, Cactus Jack at the time became tag team champions. And for me, and of course, the ECW stuff, I didn't get that till later. But for me, I'd say my fondest memory probably would be some of those matches they had with the New Age Outlaws. I think particularly the one where it was like a dumpster outside the ring. I forget.
Yeah.
Exactly but yeah, so
they toss him off the edge of the entrance ramp there. Yeah. That's my main. The two main things I think of when I think of Terry Funk is that moment, and then also that Hell in the Cell when he comes out of his shoes to go.
Yes.
To go help.
Shoes, yeah.
Yeah. Was that I'm trying to remember. Was that like the Hell in a Cell match where Mankind went off the top, or was that the one with was it the Triple H one?
That was the one, because I believe Terry Funk was just out there to stall for time while the medics were checking on.
That's right.
Mankind. Yeah.
So he asked Taker, he was like, "You're gonna have to make me bump." He was like, "We're gonna, beat me up."
And
Like,
my
let's
shoes ain't tied, so.
my shoes ain't tied. Yeah.
No, but
Well, I mean, I'm with you, Aaron, in that Terry Funk isn't someone who I was particularly familiar with. I started watching WWF in 99, 2000. So by that point, he was affiliated with Cactus Jack, who's on my Mount Rushmore. So if it wasn't for Mick Foley, like I don't think I would have known about Terry Funk as soon as I did.
Mm.
But I also know that Terry Funk wouldn't have, we wouldn't have Bray Wyatt without Terry Funk too. So
oh
those
yeah,
two
oh
feed
yeah.
into each other, and I think it's heartbreaking that we lost both of them back to back like that.
Yeah, I mean,
Mm.
one thing I was thinking about with Terry Funk, especially, as you get older, you obviously go back and, kind of, live history a little bit and learn about some of these things. But, it's been said many times on this show, myself and Patrick, our favorite wrestler of all time is Chris Jericho, and people talk about his ability to reinvent himself. You look at Terry Funk, I mean, by the time we were watching him, I don't know how old this man was, but he was very old, and he breathed new life into his career and into the industry. He kind of ushered in, and not ushered in, but he popularized and Americanized kind of that deathmatch style.
Mm-hmm.
People like, of course, Moxley and Nick Gage and all those guys for sure take a lot from Terry Funk. So rest in peace to that man. And of course, the next day, and it's crazy because I was actually cutting up the clip for that Shinsuke Nakamura segment that we had on the last episode. And after I put the segment out, as I was waiting for it to upload, I was listening to Booker T's Hall of Fame, which I was listening to earlier today, actually. And in the broadcast, they were talking about somebody, passing. And, when you hear people talk about somebody that died, it all kind of sounds the same. Oh, it's so unfortunate, blah, blah, blah. So I thought they were talking about Terry Funk until I heard Brad Gilmore say only 36, and I was like, hold on. And I hit the screen to go back, 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 back. And he said Bray Wyatt, and I was like, Bray Wyatt died? Like, insane. I could not imagine that the day after Terry Funk dies, Bray Wyatt dies. And immediately for me, I went to in my head, I felt kind of bad, not only for his, well, not kind of, but I felt very bad for his family and friends, of course, but I felt consciously kind of bad because I had been very critical of Bray Wyatt for the last few years for sure. And, I always like to separate the art from the artist in specific cases, not all cases. But with Bray Wyatt, even if I was very critical of him, I can still say that um, the things he did in his short stint in the wrestling business, because in the grand scheme of things, it really was short. They're going to have impact for a long time, and I think that you look at guys who are able to take creative into their own hands and breathe a new life. He has to be probably the best to ever do it in that sense, because some of the stuff that WWE was giving him, the fact he was able to still become a world heavyweight champion, and to still be a top merch seller in that company, um, with the way that I'm sure he probably was, wanting to pull his dreads out in those creative meetings sometimes. So
Yeah.
rest in peace to that guy. I know you guys probably have more to say about Bray than I do, but
I mean, I was honest. Yeah, like when I could not believe that news when I heard it, because it's like, yeah, it's like, he's 36. I'm about to turn 35, and it's just like, damn, man, like that's crazy to think about. And I did like back like when the Wyatt family like first started and became a thing, and they'd have those awesome like vignettes of them out in their like swamplands and stuff like that. Like, man, that stuff was so cool, and I was so into it. And just like, the entrance with like the fireflies and the lantern and everything, like all that shit was just so cool. Like, I was real into him for like a long time. And then like even like into like the earlier stages of like the Fiend and everything, I dug on that real hard too. It honestly wasn't really until semi recently that I kind of started to kind of fall off of Bray. And now he hadn't been around for a bit too, but like within like the last like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 years, I guess. But yeah, the majority of his career, I was super stoked on him.
I think and to piggyback off of what you said, I think for me the thing with Bray always creatively was like the start was always so good. The start was
Hmm.
always so good, and it always had me so excited. Especially with this last run that he had, and I was super stoked on that. Especially, um, the fact that he was going to work with LA Knight, and I've always been an LA Knight fan. Going back to Eli Drake, the match didn't do it for me. It didn't do it for a lot of people, I don't think. But I think that more so than the match not doing it for a lot of people, I think that last run will be remembered for how different it was, like everything else he did, how different it was, and how much he actually helped, helped, levitate a guy like LA Knight, how much he helped, you know, levitate certain guys like Eric Rowan and Luke Harper to be, Luke Harper. I can for sure say I don't think Luke Harper would have ended up being what Brody was in AEW if it wasn't for his run with Wyatt family. I
Oh,
don't think
true.
that
Very true.
I don't think that Braun Strowman would be where he's at now without his stint in the Wyatt family as well. It did a lot for Brian's WWE career at that time as well too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
Yeah,
totally.
I won't take up too much time about Bray, but I will say that when I picked back up with WWE at the end of 2013, he was the standout for sure. Like even now, I don't watch WWE, I don't watch the weeklies, just kind of the big pay-per-views, but I'm always asking myself, what is it that Bray Wyatt is doing? Because
Mhm.
he was always my focal point. And for a while there, my three guys were Bray Wyatt, Dean Ambrose, Daniel Bryan. And I think it did get to a point where I felt very much like Dean Ambrose. I was like, they're just not treating this guy with the sort of energy that they need to be giving him, with the sort of push that they need to give him. And when he won the WWE title, when he won the heavyweight championship, for me it was kind of like finally,
Mhm.
like I feel, and people can say what they want about his run, they can say what they want about the Randy Orton um, WrestleMania with the bugs on the mat, and how I feel like I enjoyed that match. It seems like people hated it,
I
but
enjoyed it too. Yeah.
I did. And
Yeah.
I'm not a horror person, but he was able to make it palatable for people like me who just, horror movies aren't my thing, but I liked Bray Wyatt.
mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And so, it's pretty devastating. I think I haven't felt such grief for a wrestler passing um who has affected me on a personal level since maybe like China, to be honest.
Oh yeah, for sure. That was a
And
tough one.
China was one of my um I loved her, and she was one of the reasons why I started watching wrestling back in the late 90s, early 2000s. And so, I think I was having a difficult time trying to explain this to Patrick, where it was like, I understand the importance of Terry Funk. I understand that he's an innovator of violence, that people love
Yeah.
that. You know what I mean? He's on a lot of people's Mount Rushmores. If, like I said, if it wasn't for him, um, we wouldn't have a Bray Wyatt. But because of where I came into wrestling, Terry was kind of done. He was my favorite wrestler's favorite wrestler, and my favorite wrestler was Bray Wyatt. And so, yeah, it's devastating. I heard a rumor that he was going to feud with Cody, and that got me interested in watching the WWE Weekly if he was going to come back and feud with Cody, because I felt like Cody would have, again, given the level of interest and care into a storyline, to a feud with him, that would have kept me watching. And we're never going to have that again. So I feel I just feel devastated. And, I'm curious to see what they do with Braun and Eric Rowan going forward.
Yeah.
Whether they're, or
Yeah.
even Alexa Bliss. I know there's conversations about like, where does the Fiend character, how does Bray Wyatt's legacy factor into those people who were around him? Are they going to try and bring Bray's legacy back up?
Hmm.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I'm curious about that, because I'm a sucker for honoring those that we've lost in wrestling. And so if they do it well, I think it could be really touching and really impactful. So,
Yeah. I mean, and
Totally.
and hey, look, for all the action figure folks watching, on Ringside Collectibles, you can get the new Elite, the WWE Elite Series Greatest Hits Wave on pre-order right now, and there is a Bray Wyatt Eater of Worlds figure that's in that pre-order. And I'm sure that some of that money is going to go towards the family and help them out as well. I'm probably going to cop one of those. But, going back to what you were saying, Mo, I think the overarching sentiment that a lot of people have had, and I've had too, is that it's one of those like Tupac, Biggie type situations where it's like the saddest part is we didn't get to see the best of Bray Wyatt. And it's been said a lot before, so I don't want to beat the dead horse. But I think that's what's the saddest part about it is that we didn't get to see the best of him. But like you said, hopefully moving forward, it's going to be interesting to see the way the WWE kind of integrates his legacy into their TV, because he's definitely left a permanent mark, for no pun intended, on the company. But piggybacking off of another thing you said, this is going to be pretty much an AEW-centric episode and kind of picking back up the mood since my two co-hosts today don't really watch much WWE. I consider myself more of a WWE guy, but, let's just say nefarious means haven't been working as well as they have in the past. So I've been a little bit out of the loop. I do have Peacock, so I probably will be, if I have a chance this weekend, checking out some of Payback. But before we get into everything else on the show, we kind of want to pivot into some drama because the internet is on fire right now, talking about CM Punk and Jack Jungle Boy Perry. There's been so much.
Hey,
we already know. You already know.
I got that new tea. You know it.
You already know what time it is. There's been so much said about it. I don't think I need to, especially by the time we edit and get this up. I don't think I need to rehash what has either happened or not happened. You guys know how I feel about everything CM Punk that's happened since he's come back. I think that 70 or not 70, maybe 60% of it is a work and 40% of it is a shoot. I think that there definitely was an altercation. I mean, it's been proven now. There's been a lot of sources to say there was. I think bottom line, and I don't want to cut the conversation short because we all have things we want to say. But I think bottom line, the real issue here to me is not CM Punk and Jack Perry. The real issue here is the structure of that work environment. And Tony Khan just, I don't know what the hell he's doing. But I know for a fact that, this would not be happening under Vincent K. McMahon's watch. 100%. Even Eric Bischoff's watch, and Eric Bischoff was 100% one of the guys that was, going out and drinking every night with the wrestlers. But, it's embarrassing to me, honestly. It's very embarrassing. And I'm going to be real. I think CM Punk honestly looks the best out of everybody in this situation. That's just my opinion. What do you guys say?
I'm with you. I honestly obviously, I'm gonna side with Punk on any kind of issue like this. I do, I understand that it's like, well, let me start off. When I first heard the whole thing, I was basically just like, okay, good. Like, I'm glad fucking Jack Perry got his ass fucking choked. Like, I was like, good. It's like, I feel like this situation, it's like, it seems to me that Jack Perry is kind of a little shit. You know what I mean? And he's just gonna like.
Well, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
He's going to pull the whole stupid thing of saying the glass thing into the camera. And it's like, dude, you know exactly what you're doing. It's like, and it's almost just like, it's like a trap for Punk, like, it's like, yeah, it's like, oh, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you to go off on me, Like, and so like, I think that's a bullshit thing to do. And then, of course, he comes backstage and words are exchanged and then the whole thing goes down. So it's like, I'm not saying that it's like, oh, that's an okay thing to do for Punk to...
Hold on. Is Scott Steiner entering? your house right now.
Oh boy, here he
Holla,
comes, folks.
if you hear me.
Here he
Oh,
comes.
no! Big Booty Daddy has arrived.
But continue.
Big Papa
continue.
Plum with that tennis ball going on in his.
Yes.
Hopefully that shit passes in a second. But yeah, I mean, obviously, it's like I'm a huge CM Punk guy. You know, it's like we're both you know, old straight edge men with our gray in our beards that, you know, are still
Y'all got the same body type too.
doing the thing. We're still doing the straight edge lifestyle and everything. So it's like I feel an attachment to my guy for sure.
Mhm.
And it's just like, I don't know. It's like when I, as a kid, you know, being however old I was, a teenager when CM Punk first came on my radar, I was like, oh my God, there's like a straight edge like wrestler. So it's just like we've been linked since then. Like, so I'm gonna be on my guy's side. But having said that, yeah, it's like, you know, I wish he could have kept his cool. Like, I wish, you know, he could have just like sucked it up.
Yeah.
And then maybe, you know, they can exchange words or get into a fight. I don't care, but do it. I don't know, somewhere where people aren't going to like report on it and have it
Handle
be
it
a
like
whole
adults.
thing.
Handle it like adults.
Yeah.
You know, like,
It's because it's just like, I mean, I'm pissed at the internet because it's just like anytime something happened, like this same thing could have occurred with two different people and the internet would not have blown up as hard about it. Like I was talking to Aaron before about like, you know, like Chris Jericho getting into a fight with Brock Lesnar backstage, which happened, you know, whenever that was. It's like, that in no way was his or Chris Jericho getting in a fight with Goldberg, you know, two Jericho incidences. I feel like those things were nowhere near as blown up as a Punk thing because like people just love to, especially now, and they're looking for any little excuse to jump on, you know, shitting on Punk.
To be fair, it is a pattern of behavior with Punk.
True.
So that's the difference. To be fair.
Yeah.
You know, like it wouldn't be that big of a deal if there wasn't a new backstage kerfuffle like every 3 months with him.
But I will say this, and it's the same thing. I think a similar wrestler in AEW who's had just as many backstage kerfuffles, but doesn't get nearly as much vitriol as Punk does, is Sammy Guevara.
Right.
And I think Sammy got in Eddie's face. And I know that it is reported, allegedly, that Andrade was the one who approached Sammy. Andrade was the one who leaked all that shit about Sammy being like, oh, you hit me too hard. But at the end of the day, because of what happened with Eddie Kingston, people were ready to boo. They booed Sammy. He was in the main event of Dynamite. That Andrade shit came out, and they booed him. But now look at him. It's like, I think because he's an elite guy, and I'll use quotes on that, you know, he's close with the Bucks, that we saw him last night on Dynamite. He got cheered.
Oh, yeah, that was a great segment too, which we'll probably talk about that, but that was a great segment.
Absolutely. But I think because Punk went against the establishment, which is very punk rock of him, in a lot of people's eyes, it's just like people are ready to tear that man apart. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, here's my thing. The thing that I just hate about all of this shit, like with the Elite and Punk and Brawl Out and Perry and Hangman. First of all, Hangman caught strays in this shit that he should have never caught. That's number one. That's just my opinion.
And hold on, but if we want to draw the through line, it is the reason all this happened is because supposedly Hangman shot on Punk.
But that's what I mean. It's petty. That's petty. That's so petty. It's so petty. Nobody thought that was a shoot promo. No one thought it was a shoot promo. That's why. That's the one, in my opinion, that's the one thing that Punk did wrong besides acting like an asshole at that press conference. Was that he was petty as fuck for that shit that he did with Hangman, and then he had every right to feel the way he did at that press conference, but he got unhinged and he was on a fucking high because of the match, which I get. But let's not get into all of that shit. Here's my thing about this situation that pisses me off. I don't want to sound like an old wrestling fan, but first of all, what Jack Perry did, and I'm going to play devil's advocate to the point I'm about to make. Is it something that Punk might have done back when he was trying to get over in WWE? Sure. Yeah. Sure, it's something Punk might have done. But my thing with that is like, it's unnecessary. Because number one above all, even though kayfabe is dead, why tell us if the glass is real or fucking fake? We can tell.
Yeah.
We can tell we're not dumb. That was all that was a self-serving moment. Because that did nothing to accentuate the match. It did nothing to accentuate the moment. All it was for him to stir up shit. That's number one. Because, like, not only are you undermining the business, but you're undermining yourself. Because who the fuck cares if it's fucking fake glass or not? That's neither here nor there. Number two, Punk had every right to be upset about that. But once again, he just took it too far, man.
Right. I mean, because, I put myself in his shoes and it's like, I would be fucking furious, you know?
Absolutely.
And I'm sure he was. And it's just like,
be the adult though.
It's like, because the thing that, and I 100% stand by my guy, even though it's like, should he have done it? You get it. But anyway,
yada.
Yeah. I'm gonna, on one hand, it's like, I'm kind of glad he did it because it's like, fuck you, you know? On the other hand, I'm not glad he did it because, well, basically what I wish is that he had done it, but no one knew about it. You know, it's like, because it's just like, I don't know. And the other thing, I don't know, you got to give it up to him too, because it's like, okay, he's getting ready to go out to 81,000 people. He's getting ready for his match. He's got to deal with this bullshit. He sees, Jack's little punk ass saying his shit into the fucking camera. And then he's like, oh, what the fuck? And then bro comes back and tries to fucking, I don't know, buck up to Punk or something. It's like, fuck you. I'm going to take you down. And so, he's fucking fired up about it. And what we don't know exactly the whole thing. It's like, was he saying I quit or any of this shit? Who fucking knows? No one knows. But it's like, dude went out there. Like, you wouldn't have been able to, you had never known that all of this stuff just happened. He goes out and he has his match. And in my opinion, it was a fucking phenomenal match.
Yes,
I agree.
And it's like, people are trying to be like, oh, he's such a like baby. He's not doing stuff for the bit, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, dude was like bumping great for fucking Samoa Joe. He was getting his ass kicked the majority of the match and like selling it great. He's getting thrown through the fucking side of the table. He's blading. It was a great match. You would have never known that any of this stuff happened backstage. And then, he's still, after the match, he's still like found a nice moment to go over to the kid with like, the trans kids like sign, and have his nice little moment with that kid and everything. And I'm just like, man, you gotta, I don't know. I just think people are going way too hard on him,
Right. And you know what? And this is why I say, first of all, what Punk did was, to me, king shit. He checked Perry, came out, did him and a phenomenal, in my top 3, if not my top 2 matches of the night of All In, and then rep trans rights and then rolled out.
Right.
Like, honestly, king shit. Salute to you. Yeah. But I'm also, again, what you said, Aaron, I lay all of this, and I said this in the group chat, so I'll say it here. I lay all of this at Tony Khan's feet because I have never at any of my jobs had coworkers fight each other and they kept their jobs. You know what I'm saying? Like, number one. Number two, it's like, I bring up the Hangman Punk stuff. Let me tell you, I love Hangman. Hangman is my guy, okay? But I also know if Punk felt slighted for what he perceived was Hangman shooting on him in that promo, why was this shit? It wasn't. I don't think so. But why wasn't there any mediation done between Hangman and Punk?
Right after
From
that.
what I heard, Punk went to Tony saying that he was upset by it. And again, there's still rumors that he threatened to quit then. But why didn't Tony say, okay, let's bring HR in, let's bring legal in, let's sit you two guys down. And from now on, if you have an issue with your coworker, this is how we handle disagreements. This is how we handle issues within this company, because you want to foster a culture where it's like, if I have a problem with you, like Eddie Kingston said, we don't have to like each other. We just have to work together. And if that's going to be the case, there needs to be a system set up where if in shoot, not kayfabe, if wrestlers don't like each other, they have a place they can go to hash shit out. But then you have these situations like this where Jack Perry feels like, because people have done it before, Punk's even done it, where they've gone off script and said some shit into the camera and then had to, pay for their words in the back. So it's just like, this is why I'm just like, how is he running this company? Yeah. It's like, y'all can give me fantastic wrestling matches, but at the end of the day, it's All In was Sunday, and this is what we're talking about.
Yeah, it's
getting
ridiculous.
into a scrap.
Right.
It's like,
and that's
clean your shit up, TK.
Yeah, that's my other thing. And I'll try not to keep us on this topic for too much longer, but that was a huge bummer to me too, is that because I thought All In was like excellent. I thought it was great. I was super jacked on it. But and then it's like all anyone wants to talk about, and a lot of this is the fault of, like, I don't know, fucking little asshole Twitter trolls, or sorry, X trolls. It's X now.
Twitter to me.
Yeah, Twitter to me. Yeah, I will say Twitter.
I will say Twitter.
But yeah, all these fuckers, all they want to do is, fucking talk shit on Punk or spread fucking shit that may or may not happen. That's something that always really pisses me off, is like when telephone game is played and all this stuff starts swirling around. But yeah, it's like, I don't know. I wish that everyone was just talking about how awesome that pay-per-view was, because it's like, obviously I'm a huge AEW guy, so I feel like very proud of that company for them, super stoked for them that they were able to pull off such a gigantic pay-per-view so like early in their existence.
Yeah, I mean, and we're gonna kind of roll into that, but I'm gonna leave one more kind of bow tie on top of the conversation. Because even though I did lead with saying that I think CM Punk comes out looking the best in this, using what both of you guys said, because of everything both of you guys said, because of it being true, I feel like CM Punk needs to be held a little bit more accountable for it because of that reason. Because he said himself, I work with fucking children. So you said you work with children. I mean, yeah, he kind of is, but you said you work with children, and you chose to come back to work with these children, and you know that your boss is not going to do shit to wrangle these children, so you can't have your cake and eat it too. You can't go out there and only be a consummate professional when it's time to hit the curtain in front of the fans, and then come backstage and fucking lie in the shit with the rest of the kids. You need to hold yourself to a higher standard than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's what I want to see from CM Punk. We'll never know what's going to happen to either mend this or make it worse. But I do hope that there's accountability on both sides. I hate to sound like Donald Trump. On both sides! There's accountability on both sides. So we're great people. But it's the truth. It's the truth. And I know that's a lukewarm in the middle stance, but anyway.
No, I agree too. I agree with that. I think there were two people in that fight. They both got to be held accountable at the end of the day.
Yeah. I just like, I need, for the good of his reputation, I need CM Punk to just, control his temper.
Yes.
And it's like, and I totally understand, because it's like you put yourself in that situation, and it's like, I mean, I did the same thing with the whole, scrum thing from back with the elite and everything, where it's like I put myself in his situation, and I fully understand. It's like, bro, just like, he won the title again, he got injured again. He's I'm sure he's furious about that. He can't have his title run again. And, and he's dealing with these people who he doesn't get along with, and he's got all that built up in him. I understand him going off in the scrum thing. Was it a good look? No, but I understand why it happened, why he was just like, fuck it, I'm going off.
Yeah.
But, and then, with this situation too, yeah, I fully understand clicking into that mode and being like, oh, fuck you, chokehold, like, go to fucking hell. You know what I mean? So it's like, I get it. Am I saying it was the right thing to do? No. Am I saying it was probably awesome to witness? Yes. Am I saying that Perry deserved it? Yes. But I do wish that it either had not happened or no one knew that it happened.
Well, the resident straight edge member of the crew has spoken, folks. But with that, wow, some takes in that one. That's going to be a clip for the YouTube. With that, we move into All In, and we're not going to spend too much time on All In because at this point we're almost at All Out now.
Right.
But we'll go through some of the highs and lows of the show. I don't know about you guys, and I'll pass it off right after this. I only got one thing to say. For me, the highlight of the show was Jericho going, whoa, and singing with fire in front of 80,000 people. Floor is yours.
Did you see the clips of Mercedes getting real stoked on? Well, she posted it on her Instagram. Mercedes getting real stoked on singing Judas.
Oh my God!
Oh wow!
It's great.
She doesn't read books, so she's probably a Fozzy fan.
Whoa! Let's not.
Eric is who told me this past weekend that Mercedes said in the interview she doesn't read books.
No, that was not me. That was someone else. Because
it was Dan. I think it was
that
Dan.
was new knowledge to me as well.
It was Dan.
Yeah.
Apparently, Xavier Woods was doing like an up down down interview with her, and she said, "I don't read books."
Yeah. That was.
Books. Some people like to listen instead of read. I get it.
Listen, it's always the hottest people in the world that don't read. I'm just saying.
I mean,
I've got no dog in this fight. Let me go.
But what were some of you guys' ups, downs? What do you guys think overall of the show?
I'll let you go first, Mo.
Yeah, well, I'll leave my down for when we get to that part of. We have a whole outline when we get.
I like it because we can segue right into that. I like it.
Yeah, so I'm gonna save my down for that. I think the up genuinely though is, I think Eric, you said this. This company is not even 5 years old, and we're witnessing what could be one of the biggest pro wrestling events ever, paid. And so I think I felt really excited for them about that. I will, this is legal in California. I took some mushrooms before All In. So I had a fantastic time watching that show. I was on such a literal high. But I would say highlights for me, CM Punk versus Samoa Joe, Bullet Club Gold entrance with Juice Robinson barking like a dog was super sick. Freddie Mercury tributes all throughout the show. I really enjoyed, I think, Coffin match also with Sting, Darby versus
that match exceeded my expectations.
I thought it was, again, I said Samoa Joe, CM Punk was in my top 3. That Coffin match also was in my top 3.
Wow, that was in your top 3. So what was your number 1 match then?
I had so much fun watching. It was
Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Okay.
Folks, I just want everybody to know watching at home. If you didn't know, now you know. We're dealing with some shills over here. But go ahead, Moretta. Because Coffin match in your top 3 is wild, boy. But
yeah.
We continue.
Oh, okay. Now, let me not be disrespectful because I did forget about FTR versus Young Bucks. But I definitely am a sucker for story. And so the Adam Cole MJF match reeled me in and held me the entire time. And so I think, yeah, overall show was a lot of fun. Oh, and then the Soraya, when she came out with her family to We Will Rock You by Queen. Queen is one of my
Yes.
favorites. I loved all the Freddie tributes, but it did tear me up. I know she has her haters, especially because of who she dates.
Who's she dating
but
now?
she's dating this guy, Ronnie Radke. If you don't
Is
know
he? He's
him,
worse. Is he worse than Alberto Del Rio? Because that was pretty bad.
not worse, but he is barely an improvement. He at least treats her with respect from what we can
Okay.
see.
Okay.
So I'm gonna leave it at that. Google him if you want to know more.
I'm about to say
him.
because to be worse than Alberto, you got to do pretty bad.
No, he's not worse. Definitely not worse.
Okay.
But again, it's more so him as a person that is troublesome. But it teared me up, to come back from a career-ending neck injury, or so we thought, and now she gets to wrestle in front of her home crowd, in front of 81,000 people with her family, and then ultimately wins the belt. I was like, that's beautiful. I know
That was a great moment, but to me, that was about all that was great about that
and
that
let's
match.
hold
And
it,
we'll get to that. We'll get to
because
that.
we gonna get to
But
it.
that was a great moment. Yeah. I think that moment was one of the best visuals of the show, in my opinion.
I agree.
Especially as somebody who was never a huge Saraya or Paige fan. I just really felt like I really felt very happy for her in that moment, knowing all that she's been through. She, much like I know last episode we were talking about who was it that we were talking about that we didn't know if they were going to come back. Edge. She, much like Edge, is one that's different than like a Shawn Michaels or a Bryan. We really didn't know if she would ever be able to wrestle again, truly. So to see her do that was a very special moment. I do agree. I like that
for sure. And she's another one who kind of fell into when she got injured and then couldn't wrestle, kind of like started having like substance issues and stuff like that.
Well documented. If you watch Total Divas when she was on it, woohoo!
Yes,
I think every
I watched every episode.
I think like most of the time when you see her on that show, she's probably drunk. There's a lot of like episodes where you can tell like she's either got a beer with her or something, like you can tell. So.
But yeah, so like that's another like great like comeback story too of getting cleaned up and then being able to wrestle again and then having your big moment. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me. So, I mean, my favorite match of the night was MJF and Adam Cole, number one. Okay. Number two was probably Ospreay and Jericho, and number two and three are interchangeable. The Bucks and FTR had a banger of a match, I thought. I'd say to me those were the three best matches on the show. I enjoyed Punk and Samoa Joe a lot, and I thought after that match went off that it was going to be in my top three matches of the show. I think for that match, it had me until the finish. I don't think the Pepsi Plunge was executed the way it should have been. We talked about Stevie Richards on the last episode. I don't know if you guys have been watching Stevie Richards' YouTube channel.
Yeah, some of it.
But he did a breakdown of that Pepsi Plunge, and once again, Stevie Richards. Guys, if you're watching this, first of all, hit the like button if you're in the live chat because that helps the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel.
Yeah.
Second of all, if you're watching this and you haven't seen Stevie Richards' YouTube channel or watched any of his content, it's so good. He makes you look at wrestling in a different way. But I think those were like the four matches of the night I really enjoyed. I think another thing I enjoyed just from like an ironic point of view was the duality of like JR on commentary and JR off commentary was fucking hilarious. Jim Ross is one of my favorite human beings. I thought it was so funny. Was it during the Golden Lovers match and they were doing the elbow spot? Jim Ross goes, well, that never made sense to me.
Nice.
I was like, yo, I love it. I'm convinced that Tony Khan has told Jim Ross to just go full old like wrestling asshole. Because it doesn't, because people were complaining about it when like before I was really watching AEW, keeping up with it. I remember hearing people complaining about it, but to me it hasn't gotten better. It's only gotten worse. Like he goes harder on people for doing shit in matches, and it's like so great. I love it. It's like super fourth wallish. it's amazing.
Yeah.
But those are my moments. I think Jericho just, he's been. I'm extra critical of him because he is my goat. He's been kind of in a slump to me in ring ever since. I think that Ricky Starks match might have been the last match that he had that I was like, this is okay. But this was like, I haven't seen all of his AEW matches, but I'm sure you could probably put this one up there as one of his best AEW matches because he was bumping around. Him and Punk, the old guys were bumping like Sting too. The old guys were bumping like shit. They were like shit in a good way.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd say those are my highlights for sure.
Hell yeah. I think my number one of my, I don't know, hard to say, but I think my number one moment was probably the Sting Darby entrance. The little vignette with like Sting is like Jack the Ripper
with his British accent,
and they turn to Joker Sting, and then coming out to the Metallica song again.
Oh yes, he can destroy.
Yeah, that was fucking awesome because like I don't know, I guess it was like that was like later era WCW when he was coming out to that, right? Or was that TNA? I think it was WCW. Sure. I definitely remember him coming out to it. I want to say it was later WCW. It was like after Wolfpack kind of, went away, and then he went back to black and white face paint again. He started popping out to that Metallica song. But I think they had to use like the live version because it was cheaper or something. But yeah, so that was freaking awesome. And that match, not to copy Mo too much, but the coffin match, 100% in my top 3. I don't know if it was
two in the top 3.
Yeah, like
guys, don't put this on me. Leave it in the comments. They're shills. I know. It's okay. It was a good match, but geez, top 3.
And I'm having trouble really like knowing what my favorite was. Like Punk and Joe, I talked about it before. I thought that was really, really good, and it was like such an awesome start to the show for sure. And then MJF Adam Cole, just because the build for it, like the anticipation, and just like what are they gonna do? Like I just legit was just like, I'm not sure what's gonna happen here,
Yeah.
And I was listening to this other podcast. I won't say the name because I'm gonna shit on them real hard, but and I also
shit away, my friend.
Honestly, I can't even remember the name of the podcast, but I don't know, it's these two like older fuckers who they literally shit on every single match.
I would probably love this podcast.
And I'm just like,
I need to know what it is.
I don't know. The whole time I was like thinking, I was like, so you guys, I guess, just don't like wrestling then, It's like literally you're not going to find like one thing you liked about All In. But
if it wasn't Jim Cornette, then I need to know who it is.
It was not. It's like it wasn't. It's like two like randos, But anyway, they were shitting real hard on the like the ending of the MJF Adam Cole match, like of just like when they did the double clothesline, they were both down and then they restarted it and everything. I thought all that was great because I literally was just like, I don't know, like what's going to happen. It was like leaving me like the like the anticipation of like what's going to go down here. I thought it was very cool. They did make a good point of when they're doing the chair back and forth thing I thought that was great and hilarious, but these guys did make a good point of wouldn't Cole can't win the championship if it's a DQ. So why would it matter?
Yeah, and I can see that argument too, and also I get criticism of that because most of the time when you see like a draw finish and the match restarts, it's kind of like more of a desperation mode, like back to back false finishes and stuff.
Yeah, but I think it fit well them doing that whole thing. I think it fit well with their whole thing that's been going on. Like just kind of the wackiness and kind of it all. But no, I thought that match was great. But yeah, Jericho and Osprey. That's like trying to sneak into my top three. It's squeezing in there. But yeah, because that's another one that had, I feel like after that, their like big thing on, I think it was Dynamite or whatever leading up to their match, like really built that up good for me.
That promo
And
made me a Will Ospreay fan.
yeah, like that, I thought that was awesome, and that like gave it the big fight feel and everything. So I was super jacked for that. But yeah, and then well, the other big moment that I loved was the Soraya moment for sure. Like that was just like a very like good feeling moment, and I'm glad they at least gave her a fair amount of time to enjoy that moment. However, as far as going on the downward side here, and we'll get into this more later too, I wish that they had given that women's match more time, especially because it was the only one on the card. Because I was getting into that match, and then all of a sudden it was over, and I was like,
you brought up a point that I was going to bring up too once we got to talking about the AEW women's division, because obviously we're going there, folks. That's where we're going. But before we get to the travesty that is the AEW women's division, I will say something that disappointed me, and I wasn't expecting to be very high on it anyway, was the Golden Elite against the Bullet Club Gold. And I've loved everything that Bullet Club Gold has done. I just thought, that and the Stadium Stampede both, you guys know me, like, first of all, just, and here's one of my biggest gripes with AEW that I probably will have till the end of time, is that if it's a tag match with more than 4 people in it, I'm not going to enjoy watching it 9 times out of 10, because the referee is non-existent. Every match might as well be a tornado tag, and I don't know who the legal man is. The referee doesn't know who the legal man is. It's just
JR didn't know.
JR didn't know.
He said it multiple times.
There's no psychology. Nothing makes sense. Same with the Stadium Stampede. I will say I enjoyed Stadium Stampede more than Blood and Guts, simply because the chaos was more prevalent than it was, and it was more palpable, and the atmosphere for it was a little bit more palatable than it was for me for Blood and Guts. But I didn't like that match either, because what the fuck is going on? Like who's doing what? Wheeler Yuta and what's his name? Who was Wheeler Yuta fighting with in the back for like an hour?
I think it was Eddie and Chuck.
And Eddie, didn't do anything they did.
Eddie disappeared again for a long time, but then did have his moment, like in the other ones, where all of a sudden he's coming out again, looking crazy and wild.
I've given up hope on like matches with more than 4 people in the AEW. I just like most of the time if one's on and I'm watching and it's on like normal TV, like Dynamite or Rampage or Collision, most of the time I just get on my phone while those matches are on. I can miss this one. But
I was going to say real quick, and then I'll let you get back into it. Another great moment before I forget, this Scissor Me Timbers on Julia Hart.
Oh, man.
She sold it so well too.
She did.
Yeah.
She did. And to even add to that, the Bray Wyatt tribute from House of Black.
Yes, indeed.
Totally.
Gave me complete goosebumps.
Yeah.
When they came out with the lantern and then acknowledged the fireflies in the house. I thought it was beautiful.
The House of Black they were wearing white too, which
white and gold.
And they just handed over the titles like very nicely at the end. So I don't know if this means that they're going to turn babyface. They've kind of just been tweeners anyway because they're so cool that you want to cheer for them anyway.
Yeah,
I think they can get away. I think those guys can get away with that just because it's kind of like Moxley in a sense. Like it's like we'll boo you when we want to boo you. We'll cheer you when we want to cheer you.
I'm never gonna boo either of those. I'm never gonna boo Blackpool, and I'm never gonna boo House of Black.
Sorry.
Oh, same. I'm both those teams are my guys for sure.
Yeah, they're my dudes. So
we could honestly do a whole 30 minutes on how I feel about Jon Moxley lately, but we'll save that for another podcast because, like I said, we got to get into the travesty that is the AEW women's division. You heard it from Eric. He wishes the women would have got more time. I wish the women would have got more time. That was my worst match of the night, in my opinion. Honestly, you know what? I think it was better than Stadium Stampede for me. There was the cool spot where, Saraya had, Tony and the Page tap out or whatever she calls it now. And she got hit with the stomp. The best stomp I've ever seen Britt Baker do.
Curb stomp. They still call it curb stomp.
Was great.
They ain't afraid.
They pay homage to Edward Norton in AEW.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mo, and it's funny because Mo hit me about this recently when I put out my LA Knight video, and she was like, "I have so much to say about the AEW women's division." So now, Loretta Brown, I wish I knew your middle name, but I don't, and it's probably good. It's probably good that I don't. The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
Listen, and again, we're already about an hour into this podcast, so I'm not going to take up the people's time because there are a lot of people who feel the same way, who've aggregated all this information. So I'm not going to bore you with statistics and things like that. Someone's already done this on YouTube where they superimpose the Kanye, Mike Myers, Bush doesn't care about black people. They put Tony Khan's face over it and said, Tony Khan doesn't care about women. So I'm going to direct you to that video to just understand my frustration. I know at the beginning of this podcast, I jokingly said I'm an AEW women's division hater. I'm not. I think I love a lot of the women in that division. And just to start off with the positives, they do absolutely have a stacked women's division roster. And that's not even counting Athena's run in Ring of Honor right now. She is taking that women's championship in Ring of Honor and made it its own thing. Like, I have talked to people who said they watch Ring of Honor solely for Athena. So the fact that she's there and not on main roster AEW, they're going to put her on the pre-show for All Out. And that, so let me just synthesize. You've got a stacked roster. You've got Nyla Rose, Britt Baker, Thunder Rosa, maybe. There's a rumor. You've got the Outcasts. You've got Chris Statlander, Jade Cargill. And you mean to tell me with all of that power, they get one match a week on Dynamite at 6:30, always at 6:30, and it's never more than 10 to 15 minutes. I don't understand the logic to that. I think people have been clamoring for more women's matches on Dynamite. I think multi-women's matches do not count. I don't much like Aaron said, if you get more than 4 people in a match, in a tag match, people get lost in the shuffle. You can still build stories within those matches, but those names I just said, Hikaru Shida, you can build strong, sustainable stories with the women individually without mashing them all into the same match. There is a great Twitter, Kristen Ashley. I'm going to shout her out right now. She put together a bunch of charts since 2021. So for almost 2 years, the women have not had more than one match on Dynamite. And they also have not had more than 10 minutes to wrestle on Dynamite since 2021.
That's insane. I did not know that.
That's
so
crazy.
Check her out, Kristen Ashley. Maybe we can drop her Twitter because she's starting a women's wrestling podcast, I think this week, because of her pushing for Tony Khan to do better. And I'm also, and to add to her point too, I just had a point and I'm about to lose it. So since AEW was built on, we are an alternative from WWE, right? So you have, we're going to push the people who we think deserve to be pushed. They always said we have a way diverse roster of people that we want to showcase. Okay, then, if you're different than WWE, why are you falling into the same traps? I feel like...
Hold on, I'm going to play devil's advocate, though.
Hold on. But I'll finish this point up real quick, and I'll pass it off. So even recently, if you look at the charts Kristen Ashley put out, between NXT and main roster, the women have gotten so much time on Raw, SmackDown, and NXT shows.
So that means that AEW is an alternative. That's what I was about to say.
Well, listen. And on top of that, so you mean to tell me your competition is showing you up? And so back in 2016, I think it was 2015, we had that hashtag of deep. We want to, what was it called? Give divas a chance.
Yeah.
And of course, now WWE has totally co-opted that hashtag, and it was like, oh, we listened to the fans, and we gave them evolution. And Stephanie McMahon created women's wrestling because of that hashtag. That's the whole joke.
Yeah.
So my thought was, I understand that WWE is like a 50-year-old company. They finally got with it after people got together. AEW had 50 plus years of WWE's history to know that having just one women's card on a weekly television show, one match, ain't gonna cut it. And yet they fell back into the same trappings that WWE is. So stop advertising yourself as an alternative to WWE, because you're not. If anything, you're just doing the same shit that WWE did.
I mean,
So
technically, from what you said, technically they are an alternative because they don't have women's matches on TV and they don't have
I'm gonna come
stories.
get you.
They don't. So they don't have stories, and they
No.
don't have time for the women. So they are an alternative. But
And I will say this too, real quickly.
I'm messing around saying about the stories.
I know. I told Pat this too. I said the biggest ball drop for AEW has been the Outcast storyline. I think,
well,
truthfully,
here's my thing. I'm floored by the fact that those stats, since 2021, they haven't had more than one match for more than 10 minutes. That's insane.
Right.
To
only
think of.
one Dynamite they did, and that was it.
But here's my thing: is that that's fine. Well, it's not fine, but like, if you're gonna put them on TV, you have to give them stories that matter. And I think that's the biggest issue, is that the more that you give these women, oh, be careful with all that mic scraping.
Sorry.
The more that you, the more typical woman. No, let me stop playing. After talking
Okay,
about
now we really fighting. We're going to fight right
Here we
now.
go, folks.
But
Here we go.
here's the thing: the more that you give these women chicken shit and expect them to make chicken salad, when half of them haven't been in the business for more than 10 years, 10 to 12 years, the more that you're going to put them in positions to fail. They don't give them the resources to want to be seen. I mean, and there's people that want more women wrestling, but the storylines that they give the women are terrible. That's number one. Number two, the way that he utilizes a lot of the women on the roster don't make sense. Why do you have Taya Valkyrie come in and lose 5 times in the first 2 months she's there, and she's bigger than every woman on the roster? Why do you have Ruby Soho? I mean, I love the Outcasts. I really do. They've grown on me. They've grown on me. But I think that those women would have been served better to be infused with other women on the roster. You know? Why is Britt, and I like Britt Baker. I like her better than I like Becky Lynch. Y'all know I can't stand Becky Lynch. People gonna come for me for that.
They sure is. I'm not gonna stop them.
But Britt Baker should not be the top woman in AEW. I don't think she should have ever been the top woman in AEW. There's always been people that have been more talented than her in that locker room. So it's just, there's a lot of, and there's nothing against Britt. Like, I like Britt, but I just think that if we're going to get to a point in AEW where the women are utilized the way they should be, they need to be booked the way they should be. They need to be written for the way they should be. And the worst part about this all is you got Mercedes Moné, to me, the greatest women's wrestler of the last, in-ring period, the greatest technical women's wrestler in the last 10 to 15 years, sitting in a skybox watching your show, and you're expecting her to, and there was a white dude sitting beside her that we were all like, who is that dude? And I kept saying, that's the dude talking to her about money right now. What do you think she's going to say to that dude who's trying to sign her to a deal when she sees that the biggest show in your history, these women got less than 10 minutes? You think she wants to, she's probably on the phone with Triple H and Vince McMahon right now, like, yeah, I was at their show. It's a bunch of bullshit. But look, I'll come over there if y'all let me feud with Bianca right off bat. If y'all let me take the title off Rhea right off bat, and you know WWE's gonna say yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my thing. Is if you want them to matter, you got to make them matter. And I don't think Tony hasn't shown that he wants to do that or is going to do it. I do like where the Outcast storyline is going. They're finally doing some stuff with that. That's largely in part due to what Tony Storm has been doing lately.
And I'm gonna give Eric a chance to jump in on this, but I will say ditto to everything you said, and I think you, especially the part about Mercedes Moné. Why would I want to come into a company and when you only got one women's match
You
on
had
All
5 hours. You had 5 hours.
and they got 8.5 minutes from a
You telling me that? You
5 hour
telling me
show.
that? You telling me that Ruby and Stat couldn't have gone on that show?
Right.
And why wouldn't they want? Why wouldn't you showcase both the women's belts at All In? People
Totally.
love Chris Statlander. They love
Yeah.
her. And so I agree with you, Aaron, is that people aren't going to care until we have people like Jack Perry bringing him back up. We watching him flesh out his character on screen week after week. He's not a natural heel, but he's trying to figure it out. Why can't you give that same gravitas to other women, to the women? We don't have to see Jack do that. Take that shit to Rampage. I say it all the time. Have him figure his heel shit out on Rampage and then bring him to Dynamite when he's cooked.
Yeah.
You can give another women's match instead of having him come out and shoot these 5-10 rambling promos only for Hook to come and choke him out in 2.6 seconds. We don't need it. Anywho, Eric, what you got to say?
Yeah. You also just reminded me something when you re-mentioned Jack Perry. That dude don't deserve Anna Jay. That dude don't deserve Anna Jay. But
he
anyway,
forgot one of his insults in the earlier segment. He forgot it.
Anyway, yeah, I mean, y'all kind of already said it best. Yeah, it's like there's so many women in AEW that I like love, and I love to watch wrestle, and I feel like they could have a thriving women's division for sure. It's not that like I feel like some people are like, oh well, no, like the talent's not there. I feel like the talent is there.
I hate that argument when people say that because they have the same level of talent that WWE has, in my opinion.
For sure.
The only person that WWE has that's far and above to me, the only people are probably Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair. But if you compare the rest of them, and Charlotte, I guess, because she's the queen. But like,
I'm over Charlotte, dude.
I am too. I am too. So it's like, yeah. But but other than Rhea Ripley and Bianca Belair, like, there's not a huge gap in talent at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's just like, and here's the thing about the whole like, I don't know, like Tony's like, oh, like. We wanted to keep the pay-per-view like moving, that whole thing, whatever the hell he said. I mean, you could have given him 10 more minutes. What's 10 more minutes? Because honestly, that pay-per-view was moving along, and an extra 10 minutes for the women's match ain't gonna make it feel like, oh, this has dragged on super long. You know what I mean? Or
they should have cut a little bit off of that Fozzy performance. I'm not gonna lie.
Cut a little bit off of the what?
Off of that Fozzy performance. I'm not gonna
lie. I'm not gonna disagree with that. I was gonna say they could have shaved 10 minutes off the Stadium Stampede. Truthfully, just tighten it up. Just tighten it up.
Yeah, but honestly, it's like for me, and maybe it's just because I was having a good time with it all. To me, that pay-per-view felt like, like when it was over, I was like, I could keep going. It's like I could have had another 10 minutes of that women's match. I could have had 10 more minutes of that women's match and another women's match. I could have had Stat and Ruby at that, pay-per-view. I mean, I understand they need something for All Out, which I guess we'll get into a little bit if we want to. But yeah, there's so many women in that division that I want to watch wrestle, but it's just like, it is what it is, I guess. And hopefully Tony hears the complaints and maybe starts to step it up a little bit.
I think, well, no, go ahead. No, because I'm gonna give you final thoughts right now because we are gonna get to All Out actually.
Yeah.
And we'll start with Ruby and Stat, but get to what you were going to say, though.
Well, I'll just briefly say I'm never one to just complain and not have an action plan in place. I know we're just like fans of wrestling, but I told folks like keep tweeting at Tony Khan, tweet at people who we know work for AEW bring signs to Dynamite and Rampage and Collision that's like that one person did that
Mhm.
say we want to see more women's matches. You know what I mean? Start
Totally.
speaking about it on your podcast, talking about it. I feel like if we did what we did for WWE, if we have a hashtag give divas a chance, maybe someone in the atmosphere will be like, you know what, let's start a hashtag for AEW, because if it gets enough
Yeah.
momentum, Tony will see it. His ass stay on Twitter.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I don't see why collectively we're seeing people unionize, we're seeing people striking. I don't see why AEW fans can't hold AEW to a higher standard by doing what we can by using our voice. You know what I mean? So that's all I'll say.
Totally. And if it was a big enough thing, I feel like Tony is going to listen to that and start to try to do something about it way before Vince would have, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I will
Absolutely.
say this. The only hashtag that I'm trying to start is hashtag fear the revolver. Because that's
Yes.
the greatest,
Yes.
the greatest
That-
sign.
And on that note,
You saw the guy come over and take the sign away, right?
did
I
he?
missed it because you
Yeah.
saw it right before it happened.
I think a guy came over and grabbed it.
Because he had it up for most of that match.
Oh yeah.
No, it was just at the beginning for a little bit because Eric
Are you
noticed.
sure?
It was just up for a little bit because we were watching and Eric was like, "Y'all see that sign?" And we were like, "Oh shit!" And he had it up.
I think he
Eric's
got
smart
a
dude.
I think he got a good amount in there. At least he got at least 2 or 3 sessions holding it up
Yeah.
before one of the people that work for AEW came over and took it away.
Yeah.
That shit was amazing.
Yeah.
But we're gonna get into the all out card.
Let me pull it up. Yep.
And we ain't got to worry about time. We can just riff on it. I don't give a damn. Patrick's not here. We don't give a shit.
No.
But
I mean,
listen,
we're at an hour 10. We got.
he's
He's
the
hour
one.
30.
He's the one that's gonna have to edit it. So,
There you go.
but
Let's make this very difficult for him.
it's funny because we just had the conversation about the women's division. I think it's fitting we start with Ruby and Chris Statlander, and as we were having that conversation, it made me think. I do love the work that Ruby's been doing lately, building to this match. But what has Chris Statlander done to build to this match? Absolutely nothing. Like
she ain't had time.
absolutely nothing.
She's been having her back. She had maybe a backstage segment. The only thing I've seen was on Rampage. I saw a clip of Rampage where she had her basically on her shoulders, Ruby on her shoulders, and carried her away.
Yeah, that was the
thing I've
big.
seen.
Yeah, that was the big okay, this match is going to happen. She came out, and yeah, that was the Rampage before All In.
Tony Khan, let me tell you right now, Tony Khan, we don't give a damn about Rampage. We don't give a damn about Rampage.
I watch it every week. I do.
I only know about the shit that happens because Eric will text the group chat and be
Right.
like, "Good match on Rampage."
Eric is our Rampage. He's the ship in the night. He tells us what to watch.
I take enough time out of my weekend on Saturdays to watch Collision. It's like you got to choose one.
Yeah, my big thing with Rampage is what I do. I mean, if I'm around, I'll pop it on and watch it live. But what I usually do is I got that thing set on the DVR, and then when I wake up Saturday morning, that's the first thing I pop on, and it's on that DVR. So I'm fast forwarding through commercials, and I blast through that thing in 35, 40 minutes. And there's pretty much always at least one very good match every time, I feel like. But anyway, yeah.
So who you guys got for Stat and Ruby?
Stat keeps it, I would think.
I know it's Ruby's kind of hometown, so hopefully she'll get a hometown pop. But
yeah,
I think Statlander, if she drops it to Ruby, it's just gonna add to my fuel to they don't treat that women's division with the energy
I mean, I can see that, but I feel like I don't know either way. I honestly think that, and the money's in the chase, brother. I think that honestly, the money is in Ruby taking that title and Chris chasing Ruby for it again. Because then you got.
They could do a little back and forth.
You got Ruby with the TBS title, and you have Saraya with the women's championship, and Tony, who's on the outskirts now and is super depressed with her hand on her chest because two of her old best friends have titles.
She's great at that. Yeah.
Yes, she's fantastic.
Also,
So
her entrance at All In was
Oh,
very cool.
I missed it. I was smoking.
I know
on it.
you went outside, and I kept yelling. I was like, "Aaron, you're missing your girl right now."
For,
came
for those of
out.
you
Uh-huh.
for those of you that don't know, it's hard for me to decide who I would leave my girlfriend for.
Okay.
Is it Tony Storm or Rhea Ripley? I don't know. I can't decide.
Let's scrub this for your relationship. Let's scrub that part of the
Hey, look,
podcast.
there's an edit for Patrick.
She calls Roman Reigns daddy when we're watching WWE, so I can talk about Tony Storm.
Okay.
Understand.
Something I was gonna say about the Ruby and Stat thing. While I do think Ruby does deserve a title
Mm-hmm.
and deserves like something, I would be a little bummed also if Stat lost the title that quick on her, like, what, how many times has she defended it? I mean, she's had some matches
I was
by
just
now, I
yeah,
guess,
maybe
but
like 2 or 3.
And that's funny
But-
that you say that, and she would lose it without ever having a meaningful story in her run, which is going, and which I think is integral to any good championship run. You have to me, to have a great championship run, you need at least 2 to 3 very good stories in your run, and which leads me to the next match that we're going to talk about is Orange Cassidy and John Moxley.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. Orange's promo last night.
So before I get into it, who you guys got? What do you have them? X, Y, Z.
I mean, it's tough. I at first I was like, I feel like every time Orange Cassidy has a match, I'm like, oh well, he's going to lose it now because he's had that title for so long.
I feel the opposite. Every time he has it, I'm like, he's going to win. This is the first time that I'm thinking that he's going to lose. But to me, I think if he lost, that would be stupid because, like I said, he hasn't had a meaningful story his entire run. So to me,
and he just cut that big promo too.
Yeah,
he did.
So
I mean, I'm a big, again, I'm never going to say a bad word about the Blackpool Combat Club. I hear Moxley is like a Pavlovian response. I automatically just start salivating. I'm like, that's the guy. You know what I mean? Like, he's got to win. But much like I told y'all in the group chat, I was listening to Steven Larson, the Going in Raw podcast, and they had some compelling points and basically just saying that, you know, we don't know how this Punk thing is going to flesh out, but Moxley Orange could be the main event. And if it's the main event and Moxley's the heel, how much of a bummer would it be if OC lost the title in your main event? And so at first I was like, I'm going for Moxley, but now I'm just kind of like, for the vibes, I think I got to go Orange Cassidy. And he actually lose it to someone who's not American. Someone who's actually international. Would be
I mean that's actually a really good point about if that's the main event. My thing is, it's like it's so hard to call sometimes with AEW because I know I joked earlier about no stories, but I'm about to go real hard right now because on this very podcast not too long ago, I praised Orange Cassidy. I was loving his run. But I said this in the group chat last night, and a great man named Jim Ross, who I've praised many times in this podcast already, he once said, and I don't remember how the exact quote went, but you can't have the steak without the sizzle, or the sizzle and the steak, or something like that. And to me, Orange Cassidy's run, at a certain point, it became more sizzle than steak. And I can watch you have consistently 4-star matches every week for but so long until I don't believe it. And I haven't believed that Orange Cassidy's going to lose for probably the last 4 months because I saw what was happening. Because every week he comes out, he opens Dynamite, he goes against somebody who probably deserves to take the title off him. He beats him again and again. Swerve, Penta, Jarrett, Christian, whoever the fuck. He's beating everybody, right? And to me, that's cool. And this goes back to Tony Khan's booking decisions. I've been saying this, and I'm going to say it until I'm blue in the face. I love Orange Cassidy, but you can't book him like fucking Bill Goldberg because he's fucking Orange Cassidy. You can't book him like Bill Goldberg. What the fuck? It blows my mind. So to me, I will say I love the fact that he finally showed fire in that promo the other night. I really think that had a lot to do with Moxley probably telling Tony Khan, like, look, I know that his gimmick is that he doesn't care, but this match is going to be big for him, so he needs to cut a promo. So I like that he showed some fire and cut that promo. To me, the sensible thing to do now, in my opinion, would either be to have him win or lose, because if he loses, like I said, money in the chase, brother. He got a story. Moxley has the title. Now it's going to matter even more when he beats Moxley for that title again. Then his whole run has mattered because they'll actually have a good feud. Or if he wins, fine, but let's keep the Moxley thing going. Don't let it be like every other title defense that he had, where they lose, okay, they're done. Swerve, they were flirting with it for a little bit, and that shit pissed me off.
I thought Swerve was going to get it.
The Swerve shit pissed me off because. So to me, I'm just gonna throw my hands in there. I don't care. I don't care if he wins or loses. I don't care anymore because Tony Khan has convinced me that I shouldn't care because there's no substance. There's zero substance. All I'm tuning in to see with Orange Cassidy is a DDT, a stun dog millionaire, a shitty Superman punch, and a great match every week. That's all I'm tuning in to see, which is great. I love it. But don't push him like Bill Goldberg. I'm sorry, guys. Don't push him like I'm done. I'm done. You know what? Orange wins. I call it as Orange wins because he always wins. That's what I'm calling it as.
Yeah, you're probably right.
just like rant over.
And I hear you, Aaron. I do. But I'm going to say for all the reasons that you just named is why I've been enjoying it, because I like that every week they're like, damn, Orange is getting squeezed a little bit. He's getting juiced. You know, his shoulder popped off and his kneecap is gone and now he can't see. And I'm like,
no, they've been doing that for the past 4 months. I got Casey Kinetic tape all over my dick and I can't do shit. Bro, why the fuck is Wardlow sitting at home? Wardlow is sitting at home while Orange Cassidy is 23-0 in 2023 or 21-0, whatever the fuck he is. Why?
Because I'd rather see Orange Cassidy than Wardlow. Sorry to Wardlow.
I mean, I agree.
Yeah, me too.
But that's not Wardlow's fault. That ain't Wardlow's fault, though.
That's true. Again, that's true.
Because to be real, Wardlow can have just as good as a match as Orange Cassidy every week if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
And I do. I like the Orange Cassidy matches. Like I have a good time with them, and I think he's awesome. But at the same time, it's like I think when he didn't lose the title to Swerve, I started to become a little bit like detached from his title run. You know,
that really did it for me, man. That really did it for me because, like, I don't know whether it was like the whole like fuzziness of if Keith Lee is going to be healthy and able to fight, or if Swerve is going to be building the mobile embassy, or if Rick Ross is going to stay on screen as a character. I don't know if like there was a bunch of ADD and they didn't know what was going on at that point, but it seemed like that was the one time I will say that I thought maybe Orange would lose, but I knew he wouldn't because he never loses. So anyway, enough about Orange Cassidy and Jon Moxley. I'm about to fucking have a heart attack and keep talking about this. I'm bouncing around on the order of the card, but we're gonna go to the next one: Luchasaurus and Darby Allin. Or should we say Christian and Darby Allin? It's really Luchasaurus.
Right. I mean, I think there'll be some insane spots because there's going to be like Darby's so light, so Luchasaurus is going to be able to fucking like chuck him around like nothing. So there'll be some insane shit where you think Darby died, and I think it'll be like a fun match to watch. I think it'll keep our attention. And I love Darby, so I think it'll be cool. I don't know if Darby wins though, because it's for the title, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, for the title. I'm just gonna say this match kind of highlights my issues with AEW. I loved that TNT title. I thought it was my favorite. I say this all the time. It was my favorite title in AEW since it had been introduced. And since Sammy Guevara won it off Miro, it's just been a hot potato title. And I think because of that, I feel like Darby is going to win, but I struggle with that. We just talked about, I guess Wardlow had it too, but to two of the greatest TNT champions in AEW history right there.
Very nice. Very nice.
But I just feel like that title, if you're not going to, why aren't we building somebody new to hold that title? I don't think I'm interested in another Darby Allin, his third TNT title run at this point, which is why I was excited that Christian / Luchasaurus won, because they didn't have singles gold before this, or at least Luchasaurus didn't.
Yeah.
But if I have a feeling Darby's going to win since they're telling that story.
Really?
And I'm going to be really bummed about it because I feel like, why isn't Swerve winning this title?
Yeah, totally. Like, I mean, unless they want to do a thing where Darby wins and then gets into some sick feuds with like Swerve or somebody like that. I mean, I guess he's already had.
They're doing a lot with Swerve. It's like a lot of swerves with Swerve. No pun intended. But I will say, man, I feel you 100% on that, Mo. For me, though, you know, I'm interested in this match just because I have really enjoyed Darby lately. Like, Darby's work has been so good. Dude. And so have Christian, well, more so Christian than Luchasaurus, but Luchasaurus is, like, perfect in this role of just, like, the strong and silent type with Christian, and Christian's just pulling the strings. I want to say that Luchasaurus keeps it because of that, because I think there's a lot of legs to this Christian pretending to be champion story. But, you know, if Ruby's not going to win, and if Orange is going to win, I feel like there has to be a title change, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
so I'm sorry. If Moxley's not going to win and Ruby's not going to win, then because of that reason, I'm going to say that Darby takes it just because Darby has really put in the work. And in my heart, I don't feel that way, but I'm just using the law of averages here because I really think that Luchasaurus is going to win. But I don't think that Moxley's winning, and I don't think that Ruby's winning. So by that logic, I'm going to go ahead and take Darby to win this. And he deserves it. Darby deserves it. So
this will be what, his fourth TNT?
His fourth? I thought it was his third.
Maybe third.
But you might be
third.
right. I think it's his fourth.
He's had it a bit. He's had it a fair amount of times.
It's at least his third. It's at least his third, at least.
Yeah. But yeah, because I don't know. I'm wishy-washy on who's going to win that too, just because, yeah, like you were saying, it's like the whole, like, you know, Christian calling himself the whole, Christian with Luchasaurus having the title. There's more to be done with that, I feel like. But at the same time, I don't know, they were doing a big thing with Darby where it seemed like, oh, maybe he will win it again. I don't know.
Yeah, and you got the Sting retirement lurking in the background too. I don't know if they'd want to make a championship belt a part of that. I think in a perfect world, you have Luchasaurus beat Darby Allin and they continue to feud. You have Christian as Lucha's big bro and Sting as Darby's big bro. You get maybe a couple tag matches out of it. And ultimately you get to where Darby wins the title and then ends up spinning off and turning on Sting and they do their own thing. And then the end comes for Sting.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to go with Luchasaurus keeps it, but going back to Moxley and Orange, Moxley gets it there.
So you're flipping them. Okay. Like I said, I could talk about fucking John, fucking Moxley, and Orange Cassidy all day. Don't get me started on fucking John. Don't get me started on that guy. I love him to death, but don't get me started on him.
Well, I'm gonna keep mine. I'm gonna say Darby wins, Orange Cassidy wins.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna keep it there.
So we're both going Darby. You're going Lucha. All right. So this is the one I really want to talk about. Miro and Powerhouse Hobbs. I'm excited for this.
That'll be a good match.
I'm excited for this match. And I think that this match can go one of two ways. I think it's either going to be a, like, Brock Lesnar style finishing spammer, like, super quick sprint, big man athletic match where it's like 7 minutes and we get a bunch of fucking Miro super kicks, or we get a bunch of Hobbs spine busters, kickouts, a bunch of false finishes, a sprint. And I think that Miro needs to win it. As much as Hobbs has been doing great stuff with his vignettes in the backstage lately with the whole QT Marshall stuff, I think once again the interference from QT Marshall is going to distract Hobbs to the point where he loses to Miro. And I think like Miro, they both have been getting that monster treatment of the squash matches. I think this is going to be like the cap and the feather of Miro's hat on his return that pushes him up into the next level. And I think that the whole like joke around fight that him and Punk had, like the whole reported, like they were like, "Oh, catch me outside," but they were joking.
Yeah.
I think Miro is trying to turn that into like a storyline so that he can fight the real world champion.
I definitely felt like that was also involved in some work in there.
Yeah, because he's a Collision guy, so
exactly.
But I'm taking Miro.
I think I'm gonna go Miro as well.
Yeah, to kind of, I'm gonna go Hobbs, but only because y'all both just said Miro. However, because Hobbs could use a big win, to be honest. He had the TNT title, but it was kind of very brief. He's been stuck with QT Marshall. I'm not into that really at all. I think he can stand alone by himself. But Aaron, you made a good point about Miro winning, transitioning that into a CM Punk run, which I would love to see.
Yes,
and I
that would be
also
great.
think if this is the catalyst to get Hobbs away from QT Marshall by losing, then fuck it, let's do it. But just to play a little bit of devil's advocate, I'm gonna go Hobbs.
Yeah, and I think they both need the win, like you said, but I think that Miro just needs it a little bit more. Like Hobbs needs it, but I think Hobbs has time to grow a little bit more. Miro is one of those guys, you got to pull a trick on him right now. Like he's probably only got, 6 years left of, being able to perform at a high level, max. Hobbs has all the time. Like, Hobbs is younger than all of us, I'm pretty sure. Hobbs has all the time.
He
I'm
is.
sure.
He is.
Sure, he's younger than me.
Yeah.
So, all right, we're going to get into another one. So, this one's kind of interesting. They set this one up on Dynamite. You got FTR and the Young Bucks versus Bullet Club Gold.
Mm-hmm.
That was interesting. I was not expecting that to occur.
Yeah, me neither. That was how I feel.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's like, I think it'll be a sick match.
Oh yeah.
I guess I'm probably, I don't know. That's tough to say who wins that. It's like my gut instinct was to go FTR and whatchamacallums. But
I love that. The FTR and the whatchamacallums.
throwing a little shade that way to the Bucks.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, my gut is to go with them. But at the same time, it's like I could see Bullet Club winning, and within like a very heel fashioned way.
I think I was trying to think about who won at All In. And obviously, FTR won their match.
Mm-hmm.
Takeshita won.
Takeshita
won.
Gold
Yeah.
did technically won their match. So maybe FTR and Young Bucks win just so Young Bucks can get a win on pay-per-view.
Right.
But my heart is like, I want Bullet Club Gold to win. And I feel like Young Bucks, FTR win, and one of the Guns is going to take the pin.
Mm.
Yeah, it's funny that you said the thing about the Bucks getting a win back, because I was thinking that at first. Literally, 2 minutes ago when Eric was talking, I was thinking, I kind of want to pick the Bucks. But now I thought about it because I was doing the math about all the wins and losses at All In.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought about the promo that set this match up. And there was a moment in it when it kind of confused me because it sounded like it was going to be Bullet Club Gold versus FTR.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the direction that they're going because they know how good that match was on Collision. So I think that Bullet Club Gold is actually going to win this, and that's going to spin off into FTR feuding with Juice and Jay. So I'm going to take Bullet Club.
Okay.
And I think that's a good way to get the titles off of FTR. To me, they've done enough in this run. We already know they beat the Bucks. That's their, they beat the big bad. at the biggest show. And they've been having bangers every week. And that 2 out of 3 falls match between them and the Bullet Club Gold was just, I mean, I don't want to say that my 2 matches of the year candidates are both from AEW, but Bryan versus MJF and that match are my top two. My number 3 is still Rhea versus Charlotte at WrestleMania. I still want that match to be my match of the year, but I can't after those other 2 matches. So I'm gonna go Bullet Club Golds for the win on that one.
Okay,
Go Bullet Club Gold. All right, we're kind of sprinting through these last couple because we're probably going to spend some time on the last one. I'm going to save for last. So we've already done Chris Statlander and Ruby. So you've got Adam Cole and MJF versus a tag team that's to be determined. Mo, from what I understand, you already know the spoiler of who it is.
Oh, okay.
I sure do.
I avoided it because I was watching. You got that from Wrestle Juice, didn't you? Is that where you got the spoiler? Yeah. I cut it off when they were about to talk about it because I tuned in for a second and heard them say, "Oh, Rampage spoilers." I was like, "Yep, cut it off." Yeah. Eric, I'll let you have the floor first, though. Who do you think is going to win that ROH Battle Royal, if you even know who's all in it? There's just a bunch of tag teams in it.
Remind me of who's in it. I mean,
I know who I think is going to win it, so that's all I can remember from it as soon as I saw the graphic, but let me look it up.
Uh-huh.
I was going to say, I can pull it up.
Okay.
You pull it up, Mo, because I don't want to look it up and get spoilers, because that's what's going to come up when I pull it up.
Oh, it sure will. Okay, so for the Battle Royal, we have, that is StarCast, my bad. Hold on, give me a second.
I assume Butcher and Blade are in it, and they will not win.
No, because they never.
The best friends are in it, I know that.
Okay, so it's the Aussie Open, Butcher, Blade, Darius Martin and Action Andretti, Best Friends, Dark Order, Ryan Nemeth and Homeboy, I can't remember his name. There's 2 ROH tag teams in here whose names I can't remember.
We know
there's a tag
We know they ain't going to win.
No. There's a tag team in here who I've never seen before, ever, and it's the Hardy Boys.
Oh, okay. I'm thinking, I don't know, just off the top of my head from hearing all those names, like Aussie Open jumps to the front.
I'm with you. That's who I think is going to win it too.
Yeah. Although I kind of feel like they want to try to, now that like Dark Order has like changed, they're kind of going through a change and they're being like, I don't know, their characters are a little different now. I could see them trying to pop them into something, but I think it's going to be Aussie Open, and I think Adam Cole and MJF retain.
Ooh. Mo looks like she saw something that she didn't want to see.
Oh no, I'm trying to figure out who this tag team is who I've never seen before.
I'm gonna go the opposite of that, Eric. I'm gonna say it's gonna be Aussie Open because I think obviously the story's there and I think they want to give them a better match, or not a better match, but more time, obviously, where they can do more stuff because they had to make sure nobody got hurt for that main event at All In. I'm gonna go Aussie Open loses to Adam Cole MJF. There's gonna be some nefarious things that happen between them, obviously, to keep the story moving forward. But of course, Adam Cole still doesn't have that championship, so they're still going to be best friends because ultimately, MJF was right, and Adam Cole's just using him for the title. So I think they're going to lose the tag championships to Aussie Open.
Okay. Now, I mean, that does, because I was thinking about like when they lose these titles, who are the people that are going to be able to beat them? You know what I mean? And Aussie Open would be a good choice, but I'm thinking maybe let them run with the titles a little longer before they lose it.
Well, to me, that's the sign of a good story, is that you have so many branches you can branch off with, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you could have Aussie Open beat them for them on Sunday because I think Tony Khan has positioned the Aussie Open and ROH to be like a dominant tag team, and I think that he was using them as a plot device kind of for Adam Cole and MJF. And I think if they win the titles back, that'll make them stronger. Or, like you said, you can have them keep those titles, and you can do so many other things with them moving forward in their story together. I think the reason they're going to lose, though, is because I don't think he's going to want those guys defending those titles on Ring of Honor all the time. I think he wants a Ring of Honor tag team to actually defend them on Ring of Honor.
But they just won it, though.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like not enough time. But
And
I
there
mean,
is a
who knows?
final battle. The Ring of Honor pay per view, I think, is in September. At the end of
Oh, okay.
September.
Okay.
So they're probably going to start building to that. They're definitely whoever wins on Sunday, they're going to have to fight again at the end of September. So
Gotcha.
So Mo, you know who won the battle royal.
I do.
So when you give your prediction, don't say the name of the team. Well, by the time this comes out, everyone will know, but we don't know. So don't say the name of the team, but give your prediction without saying the name of the team. If you think
Honestly, I was thinking about it. I'm just going to abstain from giving an answer because it's hard for me to give an answer without revealing it. So I'm just going to say, let's just skip it.
Okay.
And we'll move on down the card.
So we've got three more. We'll touch on this one real quick because I know you guys aren't familiar with Shane Taylor really, but we have Shane Taylor and Samoa Joe for the ROH title. I haven't been watching ROH. I know none of us really have. Off the top of my head, I'm going to say Joe retains the title. Shane Taylor is a guy who rose to prominence towards the end of the original run of Ring of Honor. He's a former tag team champion. He had a stable with Caprice Coleman and Kenny King and Rhett Titus when he was there. Great athlete. I don't think he's going to win, though.
I've seen some little like clips of him around. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a Young Buck situation where Joe is going to get a win on a pay-per-view. Like he's just going to get a win back. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Happen.
Yeah.
So
I'm feeling Joe. Yeah.
Sorry, Shane Taylor, but we had to skip over that one real quick. Before we get into the last one, we'll touch on this one real quick. Eddie Kingston and Katsuyori Shibata, which I'm excited about, versus the Blackpool Combat Club. I believe it's Claudio and Wheeler.
Yeah.
Going to be fighting. So.
Well, if Wheeler's in it, then they will lose, and they'll have Wheeler get pinned.
Yep.
And I like Wheeler. I ain't
Me
shitting
too.
on him.
I'm
in no way shitting on him. I'm just saying that's what happens every time.
Yeah.
For sure,
Yeah.
I made that meme that's like how many days since Yuta what is his name? Whatever.
Wheeler
Anyways.
useless.
Well, okay, let's be nice.
That's not my name for him, by the way. I'm just,
Is it Twitter?
That's your boy's name, I bet.
That's old James E. Cornette's name for him. Wheeler
I knew it was Cornette. I knew it was your boy. Yep.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I think we're probably all in agreement then, since Wheeler Yuta's in the match.
I hate thinking that way.
I love Wheeler. I love Wheeler.
Yeah.
Again, it's one of those things where I feel like Claudio and Wheeler have been built as like the tag team within Blackpool Combat Club. That if they didn't make Wheeler feel like the one who eats the pin all the time, they should be the ones to go after the Ring of Honor tag titles against Adam Cole and MJF. Because it's fucking Claudio. Like, I would love to see, and MJF had on his, he did the Cody thing where he wrote out all the people he wanted to fight during his championship run. Claudio's name was on it.
Nice.
Awesome
So it's like,
yeah.
if they wanted to do a quick detour from the Adam Cole stuff and then use it as a plot device to bring it back around, why not have them feud with the two of them for the tag titles? So, but I think, I love Eddie. I love Shibata. I love everybody in that match. But I think, sorry to my dude Yuta, you eating that pin, bro. Sorry.
Before we move on, though, I do want to say Wheeler Yuta has, like, that man is getting jacked.
He sure is.
Them titties been tittying lately. I'm like, really?
He's been breasting boobily, as people say.
So, hey, look, Eddie's been looking more aggressive. I love his aggression in the ring. Like, when I first saw Wheeler Yuta, I was not very high on him. But he has grown on me. Like, his in-ring style, I really do enjoy it. I think he catches a lot of flack. But I like Wheeler Yuta. So
I do. I think the only thing is his promos, because he talks like this.
Yeah. So, that's why he needs to just be like he needs to be just like a dangerous guy that never talks. You know?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. For sure. And of course, we had to save the one everybody cares about the most for last. Shinosuke, did I say that right?
Oh, shit.
Takeshita versus Kenny Omega. The match that we
forgot
wanted
about
it
this
all
match.
in. The match we wanted it all in, but now we're getting it all out. I think
Yeah.
this, I think this will be the main event, even though it's not for a title. Because why the fuck not give these guys 30 minutes, 35, 40
Right.
minutes, and let them beat the shit out of each other. I can't wait to see Takeshita just fucking destroy this man. I mean,
Oh, he's
I'm
going
gonna
to be
say it right
going
now.
off for sure.
I'm gonna say it right now. I think Kenny's winning because Kenny just took the pin. So, and Takeshita pinned him.
Ooh, yeah.
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's true. I mean, like, yeah, Kenny and the Bucks both took those losses at All In,
Yeah.
but I don't know. My initial thought was Takeshita, and because I don't know, there's gonna be some things going on outside the ring and whatnot. I'm sure.
They're in Chicago too.
Don Callis is
Yeah.
going to be, doing something. So yeah. I think Kenny might lose again.
I think the Chicago crowd would love that if Kenny lost.
And that's where I feel like it was real smart to put Young Bucks with FTR because FTR are such publicly Punk's guys.
Right.
That hopefully the crowd, I mean, some people were saying even on Dynamite, there was like when Punk's name got brought up, there were some boos.
Yeah, I saw a few signs and whatnot. But.
Right. So who knows really? But I think it was smart for them to put FTR with Young Bucks. I don't know about Kenny. I mean, Kenny's kind of been playing like he's the neutral party until they all came back and they had that trios match where he faked biting homeboy's arm and
right
reenacting brawl out in the ring.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
he knows how to be a petty, and I love that for him. But I think Kenny wins, and I think the crowd loses their mind.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, look, I agree, but I'm just gonna say that I hope that this match fucking delivers. I hope that this match makes it worth watching All Out after just having that last pay-per-view, because I mean, Tenosuke, am I saying his name right? Tenosuke Takeshita.
You got it.
He is so, like, I love the way this man walks. Like, I love everything he does, and I really just hope that they deliver and have that 5-star classic that we know they can have, because the real winners here are the fans, right? We're the real winners.
There you go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now you're forgetting about the secret main event, which is CM Punk versus Jungle Boy.
I thought it was CM Punk versus Ricky Starks, but maybe
I think it was supposed to be.
Yeah. Poor Ricky too, because he's been fucking killing it.
Yeah. Imagine this. Kenny wins his match, and he's celebrating. And then some sort of dark, mysterious figure comes in and jacks his ass from behind, and it's CM Punk.
That'd be a pop, brother.
Imagine how crazy people would go.
I think the crowd would jump the barricade and just eat Kenny alive if that happened. You'd see a gladiator just like...
Oh, God. That would be... I don't know. That just like popped in my mind. And
everybody gets free ice cream sandwiches and goes home.
Yes.
That would take the heat off of them for all this situation, because anyone would talk about now would be like they buried the hatchet and Kenny and Punk are fighting each other. Oh God, now I need this. If this doesn't happen, I'm gonna be so bummed.
Tony Khan, make it happen, man. Tony Khan, make it happen.
Please, for the love of God. We got to start tweeting Tony about this too.
Yeah. I mean,
your Twitter's out.
Yeah.
You know,
get your X's out.
Get your. There we go.
There you go. Yeah.
You know, people have been talking about like this isn't worth $49.99 this pay-per-view, and to an extent, I agree, but I also think that like AEW has always, even when the card has looked mid, to use MJF's slogan, they always deliver in every match.
It's not worth $49.99 after just spending $49.99 a week ago.
For all in. That's for sure.
That's the issue.
But
I'll be buying it. So if anyone wants to come over,
I'm flying.
I'm have to pull
I was gonna say, Mo, you flying out?
If I'm not in West Virginia, I'm gonna pull up.
Okay.
But with that being said, we
Mhm.
appreciate you guys spending some time with us. We know we went a little long today, but the white man wasn't here to stop us. Wait, no, actually, there was one white man here to
Oh
stop us.
no!
He's been
Um,
found out.
Oh!
But it's been great having you guys on in the stint of Patrick being gone. We miss you, Pete Busey. We'll see you soon.
Yeah.
But until next time, guys, peace.
Hell yeah.
Hey, I did it.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I think you're still recording.
It said stopping.
Oh, CM Punk.
It is stopping.
You being Tony Khan in the back now. See ya, Pup.
Yeah.
What
Hear
did
about
Patrick
that?
say? What did he say he was doing tonight?
I can't remember.